Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Today has been I don't know if I want to say crazy. There has been a lot going on. The worst, of course, is the news of Audrey Cunningham, which I just did a video about. And then, of course, the Adam Montgomery trial for the murder of Harmony. This has broken my heart, this entire case. And all I want is justice for Harmony. That's all I want. And I know many, many, many others, we want the same. They all want the same. I pray, and I know I've said this before, you guys, but I really am praying very, very hard that this jury, that they make the right decision, that they have seen through and they see the truth. Because I think Kayla is almost as evil as Adam. There's a bit of a separation there, but it's not big. And they may not, all we need is one juror that thinks that maybe she did it. So I pray that they have seen through everything and they see that Adam, he is the one who murdered sweet little Harmony. And I do think the witness today, there's one witness, I'm going to go through her entire testimony here, and then we're going to go through a bit of what happened before they concluded for the day. We only had about a half a day because the state did rest today. One witness, I think she really is going to make a difference. And at least I'm hoping that she is. She's going to make an impression for sure. And I don't think that the defense, I don't think they look very good with the way they approached this witness. So, state has gone through 47 witnesses. Of course, we know their list was much more extensive for their potential witnesses. And that mystery witness that we heard about, that we were all wondering if that was going to happen, yeah. The judge, I guess, decided that you can't do that. It's like I said, I don't know of any case that, a witness can come on during a trial, especially if they've seen the trial. So, that did kind of put, makes you think, well, there's no way that witness was going to come up. But, it was a long shot. But, of course, I still want to know what this person had a tip about. I still would love to know. So let's check out the testimony from Rebecca Maines. She's currently an inmate. I think she's in the same facility as Kayla, oddly enough. There was 4 witnesses on the stand today. The first witness was Kelsey Small's grandfather, and that was Douglas Small, and he broke my heart. Trooper Brian Hernandez, and then Rebecca, whom I'm going to play, and then Captain Matthew Lachelle. He's also with Memphis Police Department. And again, that gave us 47 witnesses from the state.
Ms. Maines, because we're being recorded here today, would you please state your full name and spell both your first name and your last name for the record?
Yeah, my name is Rebecca, Rebecca, and my last name is Maines, Maines.
And Ms. Maines, You reside in New Hampshire, correct?
I do.
How long have you been a New Hampshire resident?
49 years.
49 years. Currently, it's my understanding that you're staying at the New Hampshire State Prison for Women. Is that correct?
I am back on a parole violation, yes.
Okay. And what is your anticipated release date?
April 15th.
And just to get this out of the way, with regards to previous convictions that you've had, it's my understanding you've had convictions for a series of theft by unauthorized takings and one count of credit card fraud, all between 2016 and 2019. Is that correct?
That is correct.
During that time period between 2016 and 2019, what were you battling with?
I'm a heroin addict.
And how long have you been in recovery?
10 months today.
Congratulations on that. With regards to your work history prior to using heroin, what sort of jobs did you hold?
I was in the medical field.
And what did you do in the medical field?
I was a nurse.
Do you know a person by the name of Adam Montgomery?
I do.
Okay. Where did you first meet Adam Montgomery?
I met him in Manchester in 2022. We were both part of the sober community.
Sober community?
Correct.
If I could approach the witness, please.
You may.
Thank you. This means I'm going to show you what's Memory Stakes Exhibit 101. I see that you're nodding your head. Do you
It's
recognize
Adam.
this person?
It's Adam.
That's Adam Montgomery?
It is.
And back in, did you meet him back in 2021?
21, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
How would you describe your relationship? How much did you spend time together?
Every day.
Every day.
I would have called him my best friend.
Did you have a car at that time?
I did.
Okay. And what kind of car was it?
It was a 2017 Ford Fusion.
Okay. And do you know whether the defendant had a car at that time?
He did not.
You said that you were best friends. Would you ever travel together?
We did.
Okay. And what town did you grow up in?
Portsmouth.
Okay. Did you ever take him to Portsmouth?
No, Hampton
Hampton.
was the furthest.
Okay. And what town did he grow up in?
I want to say Lynn, Massachusetts. I know it's down. It's Revere. I believe it's Revere. I know it's down in that area.
Okay. Did you ever talk with him about his children, how many children he has?
Yes.
Okay. What, if anything, did he ever tell you about how many children he had?
Well, I'm pretty sure I told you guys 5, but thinking about it, I know he had 4.
You know he had 4?
Correct.
And when you say you guys, are you referring to
When I
investigators?
spoke with the state, yes.
Okay.
With you and...
I'm about to say, this is not the first time you and I have met, is it?
No, it is not.
Okay. And where did we meet?
At the New Hampshire State Prison for Women.
And what did we talk about that day?
We talked about my statement.
Okay. And do you remember what you were told to do when you were testifying?
Yes.
Okay. What were the 3 rules of testifying that we talked about?
Speak loud, tell the truth. And I don't remember.
Okay.
Stare at you guys.
Let's say, does it sound like one of the other things was to make sure you use your own words in whatever your testimony
absolutely,
is?
Yes. Sorry.
All right. It's all right. At the time in 2021, did you ever talk with Adam Montgomery about a daughter named Harmony?
I did.
Okay. Where did he say she was living in 2021 when you talked with him?
He told me that he dropped her off to her mother in 2019 at a rest area.
What did he say about how often he was seeing her back in 2021?
He said her mother would not allow him to see her and that he had been trying for some time.
What, if anything, did he say to you about her having any sort of toilet problems or bathroom issues before she went to live with her mother?
He said she was constantly wetting her pants or using the bathroom. He put her in the corner in her soiled pants. but that she would repeat it when she'd get in the car. She'd have an accident, but he said it was on purpose.
On purpose?
Yes.
That's what he said.
Correct.
What did he say about why he decided to send Harmony back to her mother?
Because she continually shit her pants. Sorry.
That's okay. Are those his words?
Yes.
Okay. Then those are his words. Remember, one of the things is to make sure that you always tell the truth, correct? You just took an oath a moment ago to tell the truth.
Absolutely.
All right. With regards, again, to his words, did he ever tell you about a physical incident between himself and Harmony?
He did.
What did he say in his words that you recall?
So he told me that he was in the bathroom, or the kids were in the bathroom. I don't remember the but he was in the bathroom and he had walked out to find Harmony with her hands over the baby's mouth and nose, and that the baby was not breathing and turning blue, and he said he saw red and he just backhanded her.
So he told you that he backhanded her.
Correct.
And when she was holding her hand over, you said the baby's mouth, did he tell you which baby, which of his other children?
You know what he did, but I don't remember. I want to say Declan, but I'm not 100% positive.
Don't want you to guess. So if you remember, you remember, and if you don't, you don't. That's okay. Do you remember the name of the child that he was talking about, the baby?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Declan.
Okay. And did he say where he was living when he hit Harmony in the mouth after seeing her cover this child's mouth?
Probably. I don't recall.
You don't recall. Okay. Did you say when it was? Specifically, when in the year? Spring, summer, fall,
it was right
winter?
before he returned Harmony to her mother.
Right before? Did he, let me ask you, did you ever give him a ride to Maine?
I did not give him a ride.
Okay, so you did not give him a ride to Maine.
No.
All right. Do you know what state he was living in at the end of 2021?
Yes, he was in Maine.
Okay. Do you know who he was living with?
He was living with Kelsey.
Did you ever meet Kelsey?
She, again, is one of my really good friends.
Okay. And what was Kelsey's last name?
Small.
Finally, with regards to what the defendant stated to you about Harmony, what, if anything, did he ever say, or I'm sorry, who, if anyone, did he ever say Harmony reminded him of?
Her mother.
Her mother?
Her mother.
And did he tell you how that made him feel? God bless you.
He said he hated her. Right to his core.
Okay, they're approaching here. She, obviously, as she said, she was a very good friend of Adam's. It's hard to imagine being good friends with Adam, and he told her things, so thank God she's testifying here. Now pay attention again. She's going to repeat what Adam said about Harmony and Harmony's mother, Crystal, once they come back from their sidebar here. I think she's an excellent, excellent witness, and it gets even better when the defense tries to discredit her. She's a tough woman, and I believe she's doing this, A, because she looks like she's trying to improve her life, and I applaud her for that. And number two, I believe she's doing it for Harmony.
Ms. Means, you stated a moment ago that the defendant indicated or said to you that he hated Harmony's mother. Is that correct?
No.
Oh, who did he hate?
Harmony.
He hated Harmony.
Yes.
You should approach Judge. Drawn.
Ms. Maines, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this clearly. So your testimony is Adam Montgomery told you that he hated his daughter. Did he say why?
She reminded him of her mother.
So not that so your testimony isn't that he hated her mother, it's that he hated Harmony.
Correct.
Because she reminded him of
Her mother.
his mother.
Can you imagine hating a 5-year-old? And not just any 5-year-old, your own flesh and blood. It's just another nail, hopefully, in Adam's coffin. Another nail in your coffin, Adam. I really hope that this woman's testimony puts it there for you.
And at that point, I have no further questions for Ms. Maines. I thank you very much for your time. I believe defense counsel will have a few.
Good morning, Ms. Maines.
Good morning.
I believe we met briefly just a few minutes ago, but again, I'm Jamie Brooks, and I represent Mr. Montgomery. I'm also going to be asking you some questions.
Okay.
And I want to begin by asking you about your criminal record, specifically your convictions between 2014 and 2019.
Okay.
You have 11 separate felony convictions.
Probably. I was a drug addict.
And along with that 11, you have 7 separate misdemeanor convictions, right, for
Probably.
credit card fraud.
Probably.
Specifically, just to dive into the details a bit, 2014, theft, Rockingham County, correct?
Correct. I'm going to agree with you on all these charges. I don't know that we need to go through all of them.
2016, theft,
I'm a criminal, sir. Yes.
Rockingham County.
Yeah.
2016, theft by deception, Rockingham County.
If you say so. I am a criminal.
2016, 3 separate convictions for felony level theft out of Merrimack County.
If you say so. I don't have the documentation in front of me. I don't need it either. I am a criminal. I don't have a problem telling you that.
This woman is taking accountability for what she's done. And that's far, far more than I could say Adam and Kayla and so many others have ever done or will they ever do.
2017, theft, Merrimack, right?
Yeah.
2018, another theft, felony level out of Merrimack.
Yep.
2018, a theft out of Merrimack.
I believe it was all the same incident, correct?
Would you like to see the charges
No.
with different docket numbers?
No. I'm telling you I'm a criminal. I don't know why that would make a difference.
And you also have 2 theft convictions out of Rockingham County in 2019.
Correct.
You indicated on direct examination that you were with Adam for a couple of months,
Yes.
beginning around August of 2019?
Correct.
Or my apologies, August of 2021.
2021, I'm sorry, yes.
And you and Adam were together essentially every day?
Right up until I moved back to the seacoast.
You considered him a best friend?
I would have, yes.
He ended up moving to Maine to be with Kelsey Small, correct?
Well, he ended up going there, yes.
You were the one who introduced Adam and Kelsey in the first place?
I was.
I want to talk with you a bit about your current legal situation. You indicated that you are eligible to be released on parole in April,
Correct.
in a couple of months. But it's also fair to say that that is not the extent of your legal troubles, correct?
Correct.
You are presently facing 3 sets of charges out of 3 separate counties, correct?
Actually, it's 4.
There's a 4th?
Yes.
Okay.
I love how she corrects him. Oh, there's actually a 4th. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, your numbers are wrong, aren't you, Mr. Defense Attorney, Mr. Brooks?
Let's start with Merrimack County.
None of these I've been convicted of, so they're none I would talk about.
These
I think
are...
I have the legal right to that.
I'm not going to ask you about the specifics, but I am going to ask you about the fact that you are, in fact, presently being charged with...
I'm not facing any more time, sir. I'm not doing any more time.
Well, let's talk about that. You're facing a Class B felony offense out of Merrimack County, correct?
I don't know if it's for possession of crack cocaine. I believe it's going to be a misdemeanor.
You have 2 counts of possession
I
out
do.
of Merrimack County, correct?
No. Do I? No, I don't believe so.
Are you familiar with a document called a case summary?
Yes.
Would looking at that case summary assist you in knowing what you're charged with?
Yeah. I actually...
Permission to approach, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
I'm now handing you what is a case summary for your current pending Merrimack County Superior Court case.
Okay.
Having reviewed that, does that help refresh your recollection?
No, I was only aware of 1.
But you are in fact facing 2.
Apparently you say so, yes.
And those are 2, I'll be happy to take that back if you, unless you need to look at it again.
No, I don't need it. I don't have a problem telling you that.
So in Merrimack County alone, you are still presently facing 2 charges carrying a maximum penalty of 3.5 to 7 years in
Yes.
prison. And there is a second court, correct?
Yes.
And that's Rockingham County Superior Court.
Yes.
And out of Rockingham County Superior Court, you're facing an A felony offense.
I am.
That carries a maximum penalty itself of 7.5 to 15 years.
Yes.
You also have a charge right here out of this very court, correct?
I do.
Itself a Class B felony. Itself punishable by up to 3.5 to 7 years.
It is.
And you indicated that there's a 4th?
I'm correct. Out of Bedford, I have possession of crack cocaine.
When did that charge come about?
I was arrested on August 12th of 2022.
That would also be a felony level offense?
It is a misdemeanor.
Okay.
Acts prohibited, I believe, or no, it's...
And even though you're scheduled for release in April on the sentence you're presently serving, those charges are all still pending.
They are still pending, yes.
And there is an additional problem as well, right? In each of those 3 cases, you failed to appear for court.
I did. And that's not a problem at all. I was in treatment, sir.
You were on the lam,
I was in treatment, sir.
absconded from your parole.
I was in, I was in treatment.
He's just trying to screw her credibility. He wants to make her look like she's such a criminal, and she's already said she was a criminal. She's already said she's taking care of all this stuff. So he's not doing anything, in my opinion, that's really going to make her look any worse to the jury or anyone else.
Sir.
Yet your parole did not know you were in treatment and a warrant was issued?
I believe I've answered that question. And they did know where I was. But thank you.
And you would agree that failing to appear for court is itself also potentially a crime?
It is a crime, yes.
Bail jumping?
I was not charged with bail jumping, sir.
You haven't been charged with bail jumping yet since being arrested.
I was in treatment, sir, and I'm pretty sure that I verified that through the courts, and each of them know.
I want to change topics.
My criminal record. Ooh.
What he needs to do is get back to the case at hand. This is about Harmony. This is about justice for a little 5-year-old who was murdered. This is not about this lady's criminal deeds. It's not about how many charges she still has to deal with. It's not about her going into treatment. It's not about her supposedly avoiding court or whatever the hell crap he wants to throw at her face to make her look like garbage. And thankfully, she's not taking it anyway. She's like, yeah, I'm a criminal. Move on.
Adam fought for 4 years to get Harmony?
Adam fought for 4 years? I mean, if you say so.
You don't recall telling the police that?
I didn't tell the police he fought for 4 years.
Let's talk about, you indicated something about standing in a corner.
I did.
She would stand in a corner and poop. Is that something that you said?
I said that she used the bathroom in her pants and he put her in the corner.
Okay, so we're not talking about the car.
No, I'm not. I didn't say anything about the car.
Okay, so this is something that would occur when they were living in a home or an apartment or something.
Correct.
So, Ms. Maines, on direct examination, it was elicited that you have met with the state before, correct?
I did, yes.
And one of those times that you met with the state was when you were in prison.
Yes.
And that was January 4th of 2023.
Probably.
But it was another time that you were incarcerated. You since got out
Yes.
during some point of 2023, and now you're back.
Correct.
Okay. You recall being interviewed by a Detective Dunleavy?
I was, yes.
And you were wanting to get out of your situation, correct?
No.
You were in prison.
So?
You wanted to stay in prison?
I was on parole. Nothing you can do can help me with parole, sir.
Do you recall telling Detective Dunleavy that you wanted to have a recorded telephone conversation with Mr. Montgomery?
No, that I wanted to have a recorded conversation? Absolutely not.
Did you catch the ponytail hair flip? She's ready, man. She is ready to defend herself, and I believe she's telling the truth here. She's not going to put up with Jamie Brooks's, crap. She's like, let's go, man. Let's go.
Absolutely not. You never told Detective Dunleavy that.
No. I actually told him I wanted to see him in person.
Well, you did say that too. You wanted to go and visit Adam at Valley Street Jail, right?
I have been in contact with him while he has been incarcerated, sir.
At the time, Adam was at Valley Street Jail when you were at the Women's State Prison in January of 2023.
Correct.
And you told Detective Dunleavy, I would like to go and visit him at Valley Street.
I did. Adam was a really good friend of mine.
But you also told him that you couldn't do it by yourself, right?
I will never see Adam again because I'm a criminal, sir, which means I can't get into the jails or the prisons.
You told Detective Dunleavy that you would like to go and visit Adam at the prison, but you needed their help to do so, right?
No. I needed their help? Absolutely not.
Being incarcerated, you would agree that you would not be able to get to Valley Street on your own, right?
Correct.
You would have to be released with the assistance of the police.
No, absolutely. I was on parole, sir. You don't get to be released just because the police said so.
You told the police that you had nothing to lose?
What? I want to see that because I'd never said that.
While we're on the topic, at the very end of the conversation with Detective Dunleavy asked, is there any, do you have anything else for us? And your response was, I can tell you all about drugs, right?
No, absolutely not.
No doubt in your mind?
I was there for one reason, sir.
Fair to say that you wanted
Actually,
to
I was there
improve
for
your
two
legal
reasons.
situation.
The second reason was a personal reason, but we never spoke. The drug issue was on a personal reason, but it had nothing to do with Adam, and it had nothing to do with, it had to do with a sexual assault.
It had nothing to
Sir.
do with Adam, but it still had something to do with possibly improving your legal situation.
It did not. Nothing will improve my legal situation but myself.
I have nothing further at this time, Your Honor.
If I could please, Your Honor, just to briefly clarify this thing. With regards to your testimony here today, do you have any promises with the state about what's going to happen to your other charges based upon how you testified today?
Not at all.
Have you ever asked for any promises from the state in exchange for your testimony here today?
I have not.
You stated a moment ago on cross-examination that you said, I'm never going to be able to see him again. Can you please explain to the jury why, as somebody who's on parole or as a convicted felon, you're not going to be able to speak with him again? With somebody like him.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I could never go to Valley Street because I've been to Valley Street. I did some time there, and you are not allowed to go to a jail that you have been to. Secondly, the prison. You have to be 10 years with no arrests, no convictions, 10 years when you've been outside the prison. And at this time, I definitely can't say that I've done that.
Let me ask you also, you were asked about meeting with the state, and then you were asked about a meeting in January 4th of 2023. On your meeting recently with the state, on that meeting, did you meet with myself and Attorney Knowles?
I did.
Okay. And was that recent, just before this trial began?
It was, I think, 2, maybe 3 Fridays ago.
Maybe 3 Fridays ago. So we put it in January of 2024. Is that right?
That is right.
And yet, you were also asked about meeting with Detective Dunleavy. What year did that meeting take place?
Well, that was in 2022, and actually, I didn't even know he was coming. I was scheduled to meet with Manchester PD's sexual assault.
So that is a different matter, a different time, and a different meeting.
Correct.
So when counsel a moment ago said that you met with the state prior to trial, these are 2 different meetings with 2 different groups of people in 2 different agencies, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Finally, with regards to the criminal record that defense counsel went through, was the defendant aware of your criminal record?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you were still friends with him, right?
I was still friends with him. I actually have not been charged with any new charges in quite some time for myself. Okay. I've been clean and sober and working on myself, which is what I plan to do when I get out. The same exact thing.
Understandable. with regards to also when you were asked about the defendant talking about this pooping incident, that Harmony would do this on purpose. I just want to clarify with regards to the timing. You were asked a moment ago whether that happened while Adam was in a car. Did
We
the
were on our
defendant?
way back from Medway, Massachusetts.
So that's what you meant by in the car,
Correct.
not that the incident occurred in the car.
Correct.
And correct me with regards to your testimony on direct. Didn't you say on direct that it was after these incidents and this backhand incident, that's when he decided to bring her back to her mother?
It was the, I was told in the time of Thanksgiving 2019.
Thanksgiving 2019.
Correct.
Okay.
He put her in the car and met her mother,
And who was it that told you that?
Adam Montgomery.
Thank you. No further questions at this time, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Maines.
Thank you.
Permission to approach, Judge?
Yes?
They approach for a bit of time here. Of course, we never have any idea what these sidebars are about. But my guess is that the defense was hoping to discredit this witness and due to her testimony. And they are not successful in that if that's what they were trying to do. Unfortunately, we're going to have to hear attorney Jamie Brooks cross-examine her one last time after their sidebar.
So, Ms. Maines, I do want to clarify. It's your testimony that when you met with Detective Dunleavy January of last year, 2023, you were not trying to offer new ways to try and get information from Adam so as to improve your situation and get out of prison?
I was on a parole violation, sir. I got all of my time suspended. I didn't need your help to get out. All of my time was suspended upon entry into a program.
At the time that you had this this interview with Detective Dunleavy, there was your parole situation, but you were facing the very same 3 charges that you're facing now, correct?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and we don't need to rehash them all again,
Yeah.
but it was the Merrimack
Actually, it was
charge.
4. But
That's right, out of Bedford.
correct.
Okay. So those charges were all still
Sorry,
pending
just
then?
want to be honest. They are still pending. They were still pending then.
Okay, and again, what you're saying is that Adam told you that he had backhanded Harmony after she had her hand over, you think, Declan's mouth.
He did, yes.
And this was around Thanksgiving.
No, he returned her to her mother around Thanksgiving of 2019.
And that's what prompted her to do so, or him
That-
to do so.
It was an incident that we had spoken about coming home from Medway, yes.
And that's what prompted him to send her back to her mother.
Correct. He said that he just wanted to make sure that she had the proper care.
Any further?
Additional, Your Honor, we ask the witness to be excused, please.
All right, ma'am, you are excused.
Thank you.
Again, I think she was a great witness for the state, and I really hope that she helped convince the jury if there was any question in their minds about Adam.
Your Honor, with that, the state rests.
Counsel, just approach for just 1 minute.
Okay, that was hard to hear. He said that the state rests. So that was when they actually rested, right after that witness. And again, if you would like to hear that testimony, check out the link to the complete live stream for Court TV.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to dismiss certain charges presented, charged against Adam Montgomery. The first comes to the second-degree assault. I recognize that the information with regard to the assault is based on witnesses reporting statements by Adam Montgomery. There is no eyewitness, including Kayla Montgomery herself, because we did know that Mr. Tsaros did speak with Ms. Montgomery, and as a result of that conversation did not come away with concerns with regard to a need to follow up on the allegation of assault by Kevin Montgomery. That no follow-up was deemed necessary. This allegation was investigated. Harmony was spoken to. Witnesses were spoken to, and nothing happened as far as this investigation. And that the charges here occurred after, that were instituted after a search for Harmony Montgomery and determination that Adam Montgomery was at least a suspect in why Harmony was missing, and that was the impetus that led to his charge in this case. But based on the facts as they existed in the summer of 2019, I do not believe that there was support for the allegation, and subsequent charges against Mr. Montgomery don't make what did not exist as a confirmation now to be confirmation. With regard to the second-degree murder, the only evidence with regard to how Harmony died or who killed Harmony is Kayla Montgomery's testimony. Kayla Montgomery is a convicted perjurer. She has also acknowledged 2 other instances of perjury other than what she was charged with. Her story itself went through various iterations, and quite frankly, I think were pretty ludicrous as far as a degree of violence that nobody could accomplish in public as she had described and not be seen by anyone. She was describing a degree of violence in the car at a time when people would be going perhaps to work at Colonial Village. She was describing assaults in the car outside of the clinic on Franklin Street. And you may recall the testimony that at one point prior to that, there was testimony that they had to go into the clinic one at a time because at a prior visit while they were parked outside of the clinic, somebody noted that there was nobody in the car with the kids. And so that's why they changed their behavior to one person at a time. This was the regular hours of the clinic with people going in and out of the clinic. Very, very public area. The jury was at the scene. Obstructions for the car outside of the clinic didn't exist. Then there is allegations of at traffic lights from the clinic to Burger King, assaults. She claims at every traffic light. She claims that Mr. Montgomery was at those traffic lights leaning over and striking Harmony in the back seat several times through perhaps each traffic light, and that the last time was pulling into the Burger King parking lot. Again, the jury saw the Burger King parking lot, no obstructions, at a time when other people would be going in and out of the Burger King parking lot. And she described that based on that final assault, he became worried that something perhaps was wrong. And then she describes pulling into the drive-in, having communication and direct contact with a clerk who he is providing money to receive, or however it was paid. She thought cash, but couldn't say definitively. And then receiving the food as the clerk is handing it out to him while he is sitting in the car. I just think it defies logic, reason, and any sort of credibility. The changes that she went through with regard to those events, that although she started out saying that these assaults to the jury started at in the morning before going to the clinic, on cross-examination said that they actually started between 2 and 3 in the morning, with about Harmony being struck about 15 times. And one of the other things in the Burger King parking lot, that she thought the boys were asleep throughout this time. She wasn't sure. I think her credibility with regard to that information is just, she has no credibility, and therefore there is no evidence of how Harmony died and who caused her death. And I would move to dismiss the second-degree murder charge for insufficient evidence, even taking the evidence in the light most reasonable to the state. With regard to falsifying physical evidence, I have no motion. With regard to abuse of a corpse, I have no motion. With regard to tampering with the witness, Kayla testified that upon discovering Harmony's death, she and Adam spoke about what to do. They spoke together about concerns that DCYF would take the children, that was her concern as well, that they made plans together to hide the body, to not tell about Harmony's death. And her description on cross, because I understand on direct it was different, but on cross she acknowledged a plan and a communication as a partnership and conspirator, rather than being a victim of witness tampering. So I would move to dismiss that charge as insufficient evidence taken in the light most reasonable to the state.
She's fun to listen to, isn't she? No. Carolyn, all of this stuff is crap, and you're trying to say that Harmony wasn't abused. That is an insult. That is an insult to this sweet child. And I'm not even going to get into the rest of it. But, and then of course the state's going to rebuttal this.
It's okay.
With the best logic, reason, and credibility is to argue that in the evidence, taking the evidence in the light most favorable to the state, that this matter should not go on to the jury. So the defendant's motion to now should be dismissed. I'd like to remind the court with regards to the testimony of the second-degree assault that occurred. Kevin Montgomery testified about how he came home from his trip to Florida to see Harmony in the kitchen the day that he returns in July, in the time period alleged between July 7th and July 22nd, and that he sees the black eye on Harmony. Plain visual assurance and seeing that this injury occurred on a 5-year-old girl at the time, and that what was the defendant's response? I bashed her around the fucking house. This statement about the defendant having struck Harmony during that time period was confirmed by the testimony of Ms. Katie Morin, Courtney Garcia, by Kayla Montgomery herself, by Nicholas Ahern, who all either saw the injury or heard the defendant say one of his variations. 1, admitting that he struck Harmony. 2, saying that Harmony got hurt in a soccer incident. Or 3, admitting that he struck Harmony and that he was angry at the time. Mr. Demetrius Saros, the DCYF investigator who responded, was able to get there over a week later after the defendant had spirited Harmony away at the time of the very first visit, and even he still saw the mark on Harmony's face weeks later. The fact that the defense counsel just pointed out that this charge came forward post the original search for Harmony gone missing is completely irrelevant. The statute of limitations allows this charge to be brought any time within the time frame for an ordinary felony. Specifically here also, when you have a child, there's an extension to the statute of limitations that would go out for felony level conduct. There is no basis in law nor in fact of any of the witnesses who have testified to be able to dismiss this charge. With regard to the second-degree murder, again, the testimony of Kayla Montgomery alone is sufficient for this matter to go forward to the jury for their consideration, but it is not alone. It is accompanied by copious amounts of corroboration from various different witnesses, physical evidence that's been provided, from testimonial evidence about records, that what she said happened to happened to Harmony did in fact happen. And that even though the defendant now has stated to the jury in the opening arguments that they can and should find him guilty of falsifying physical evidence, it's falsifying physical evidence that would have shown that he committed the crime of second-degree murder against her. Not that something happened in the middle of the night, but that he struck her on December 7th. His words, I think I heard her this time, I think I did something. That's something that's been testified to, that the Kayla Montgomery testified and talked about in the very first proffer, that the first punching happened before the sun came up. So representations that the beginning of the assault must have been seen by somebody else that was there on a cold, dark December morning do not they do not go ahead and meet with the facts of the case that have been presented on the situation that she was in. The description of violence that was made in public, it's very easy to be violent towards a 5-year-old who's laying down in a car seat, laying down in the car. And that is in fact the position that Kayla Montgomery puts Harmony in, which is behind her seat, behind the passenger seat, in the rear, down against the door. With regards to the witness tampering charge, Your Honor, for that, not only does a picture speak 1,000 words over the fact that the defendant abused Kayla Montgomery physically to make sure that she stuck to the story, but that abuse has been testified to, was witnessed by Nicole Giles as early as January 2020, as well as later on in 2021 by Tara Hilbert. The testimony of Kayla Montgomery has been that that was done to make sure that she stuck to the story that the defendant created, that she did not come out. And she stuck to that story so well, she went ahead and committed perjury as part of that story. So to say that there's no evidence, that in the light, we're looking at the evidence in the light most favorable to the state, to say that there is no evidence for these 3 charges to go forward does not coincide with the facts that we've actually heard in this courtroom. And as a result, the defendant's motion should be dismissed.
All right. To succeed on a sufficiency of the evidence claim, the defendant must show that viewing the evidence in the light most favorable to the state, no rational trier of fact could find guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. All reasonable inferences derived from the evidence are viewed in the light most favorable to the state. With regard to the second-degree assault charge, Kevin Montgomery testified that he saw the black eye. The defendant, according to the testimony, the defendant admitted that he had bashed Harmony around the house. Kayla also heard the statements. Others also saw the bruising on Harmony. Mr. Soros saw the defendant removing Harmony from the scene when he went there, and subsequently also saw the bruising himself. So considering the evidence that's been presented and taking all the inferences and facts in light most favorable to the state, the motion to dismiss that charge is denied. With regard to the second-degree murder charge, as the state says, there is direct evidence through the testimony of Kayla Montgomery that she saw the defendant striking Harmony, which led to her death. The defendant's own statements indicate that at the time he believed that he hurt Harmony or that he did something to her. There's additional descriptions regarding the circumstances surrounding the families living in the car at that time. Again, taking all the facts and testimony and inferences in the light most favorable to the state, the court does find that the state meets its burden, and the motion to dismiss on the second-degree murder charge is also denied. With regard to the witness tampering, there is a photograph of Kayla. Kayla testified extensively regarding the allegations of abuse and the statements by the defendant with respect to convincing Kayla to stick with the story that he had given to her. Nicole Giles and Tara Hilbert both testified quite clearly regarding the abuse that they saw and heard about. And again, there is sufficient evidence that to show that the state has met its burden on the witness tampering charge as well. And so the motion to dismiss on that claim is also denied. All right, so the motions to dismiss have been denied. I think we're ready to go forward tomorrow with the defense presentation of evidence if they wish to present any. Attorney Smith, it may be useful for the court and for the state for us, if you know in advance about whether or not we're going to be moving right into closings or whether you anticipate presentation of evidence. If you're comfortable with it, you can let the state and the court know. Otherwise, what I would have you do is be here no later than 8:30 tomorrow morning so that we know where this is headed. Should the defendant refuse to be transported tomorrow, the court would deem that a waiver of his right both to be present and a waiver of his right to testify. So I want to be clear on that, as I said to him when I did colloquy him on this issue of his absence. If he doesn't get on the transport in the morning, he will be waiving both his right to be present and his right to testify. Any question about that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
So there we go. Denied. And it's now the ball is in the defense's court. Will they or won't they put any witnesses on the stand tomorrow, or will we go right into closing arguments? I think we're going to go into closing arguments. I do not believe, A, that Adam's going to show up, and B, that even if he did show up, that he would testify. That's my personal opinion on it, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. But besides that, beyond that, I think we're going to go right into closings, and then it's going to get into the hands of the jury. It's time for justice for Harmony. And I believe the jury will have this case more than likely either tomorrow, which is Wednesday, or at the latest on Thursday morning. And do I think that we'll have a verdict by week's end? I think we will. If they get it, I think it's a pretty clear-cut case, and I don't foresee them taking it into next week. But you never know. You never know with these juries. So I'm going to be praying right up until they tell the judge that they have a verdict. So let me know what you guys think of everything that's happened thus far, and if you think that Adam is going to show up at all tomorrow, and if he's going to testify. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and most of all, stay safe.